talked a lot about the weird schedule, starts and stops. You go get a road win, and now you have a weekend off. What does the timing of this do for you?
That's a really good observation, Brent, because it is so. We really are kind of amped. We want to play people now. we want to get some more W's, that kind of thing. And I worry about us going a bit soft, because anytime you have time off, you go a little bit soft. But I do think that, on the other hand, there's some pluses to it, because we've just been going so hard this month. We played 3 out of 4 weekends on the road, and this team does need a bit of a break. They need to exhale a little bit. So we'll see if it turns out to be, a blessing or a curse to have the weekend off. We've toyed with the idea of maybe trying to slot a game in there. I'm not convinced that's a good idea. I think that the level of intensity that is required to play in the Mountain West Conference, you just don't want to have your team think that you can never play a game and not be that hyped up and that into it. And so we're probably not going to, play till we play UNLV next week.
Like, what kind of teams would you have considered, and how would that have even, at this late notice, how would that even work?
Who knows if it could have worked. In these times, everybody's always staying flexible, and a lot of teams have lost games. With losing the whole San Jose State series, we're now going to get the Nevada series back, so that's great news. But with losing both games, we could have scheduled another game and still been under the limit. It would have been somebody local, and like I said, I don't see it happening. But the main thing we're going to try to do is try to treat it like you would finals break, and put in some more stuff. And really, if you think about it, you think about all the days we've had to practice and how much time we've really had to practice and get our team ready. It sort of is like finals break back in December. We really do want to put some new stuff in and add things that we didn't have time to do earlier in the season because we lost so much practice time.
Brent, go ahead with your other question, and then we'll move to Roland after that.
Yeah, it seems like in this whole process, Emily Conroe's kind of been the overlooked one, because Kaylanimmel's always scored the points, and then Riley Snyder came up with this talent and height. But what has Emily meant in what you've been building for the last few years?
And once again, you have great instincts, Brent, because she really was, in my opinion, sort of the X factor in the win over San Diego State. She just plays really, really hard. And sometimes things will go her way and she'll have a really good game, and sometimes a not so good game, but she always plays hard. And in that, I honestly believe the biggest reason that we beat San Diego State, we still weren't playing all that great. We're struggling to score the ball. And once again, in the first game, we really struggled to score the ball. Second game, we were struggling to score it again, missing shots that we should make, but we were playing hard, and we were playing much more intense defensively. I feel like if we had played that intense defensively in the first game, we might have been able to come home with 2, I don't know, but we definitely played much more intense defensively in the second game, still struggling to score. But when it got to that fourth quarter, because we had worked so much harder to push the ball and to make them work, we started getting rewarded for that. They definitely got tired. And Emily and Riley and Brianna just kicked it up into another gear, and we just ran them and defended them and went down and executed stuff very well. And I think we just had them tired. So, and Emily has a lot to do with that, because she's always putting out that extra effort. She's always chasing kids in the backcourt and going after offensive rebounds and denying her kid the ball, and that just wears people out. And so she in a lot of ways she is the X factor. So I'm glad you brought her up.
Yeah, Coach, I was just going to ask, with the time you guys have off and then with UNLV playing 3 times, will you be able to watch those games as a group? And if so, will you be telling the players to look for anything specifically from UNLV?
Well, we'll certainly take edits from those games and be showing them to the team. I don't know that we'll necessarily, mandate for the team to watch the whole game. Some of the players will. Some of the players will. Some of the players won't. But we will be using that information most assuredly. So, and I think that it's, again, they're going to be a little bit more battle tested when they come in here, because they're still going to have that grit that sort of you only get when you're competing. So we got to find a way to be sure we keep that before we have to face them next Friday.
No, Coach, we have been watching for a long time, and in some of those close games, probably more of them than not, it was like a hot potato. Your team, nobody wanted to take that pressure shot. Nobody wanted to have that ball in their hands, but we did not see that this last weekend with Riley and Brianna Autry-Thompson. They wanted that basketball, and when they got it, finally they were able to do things with it.
You all should be coaches, honest to goodness. That if you knew how many times I'm saying the same thing to them, stop deferring. It's even if you don't shoot the ball, if you want to shoot the ball, if you cut like you want the ball, if you screen like you want the ball, if you do everything like you'd sure like to shoot it too, it opens up the opportunities. And when people aren't real sure they want to shoot it, then that's when you end up standing around, or you end up with an ineffective cut or ineffective screen, etc. So we've been preaching that a lot, and you are right. I mean, Riley, Brianna, and really all of them. I didn't feel anybody back down in that fourth quarter against San Diego State. I thought everybody was ready to do what they had to do. Sierra Winters knocked down 2 free throws that helped clinch it, and everybody did what they needed to do. I thought Snyder certainly had an exceptional game from the standpoint of not only was she so big for us in her scoring and even her passing and rebounding, particularly in the fourth quarter, but she also guarded San Diego State's best player. And we had problems with Staples because she's about 6'1" and can score the basketball. She's a transfer from Minnesota, and she's a good player. And we did not control her in the first game, and we just felt like we needed more size on her because she's just got great length, high release. And we put Riley on her in the second game, and she had a lot more trouble with Riley just because Riley's got good size too. So Riley certainly brought it in that second game, but Brianna was big time point guard in that second half, and just attacking the rim and pushing the ball in transition, and in a lot of ways if we could be everything we were in those last 5 minutes all the time, we'd be pretty good. So, but I'm just glad to see it. I was glad to see them have that we're not taking this anymore kind of look. That's exactly, it was like they flipped a switch and they just said that's it. We were, reeling a little bit from Kaylin's nose getting broken in the third quarter. And that definitely, that always distracts you for a bit, and you just sort of have to get your grounding again. And Kaylin even tried to play. The San Diego State coaches were quite impressed that she actually went into the game in the fourth quarter, but you could tell she just wasn't quite ready to do that. So she was only in there briefly. But those other three just stepped up.
I was just going to say, we keep talking about offense, but
okay.
You talk about new things that you put in. Was that 2-1-2 zone, that trap, something new? Because that seemed to really ignite not just you defensively, but set up turnover after turnover going the other way.
It's that trapping zone is something we've been working on. Every time we play, we learn a little bit more about it. Typically, we've had some success with it, and then some, team will figure it out. I mean, that happened with Boise State. We had some success with it, and then they figured it out. And every time the opponent figures it out, we learn something new about the defense, because it's a defense that we've only had our team playing for. Gosh, we put it in at the end, the second half of last year, so we haven't done it a ton. We're strictly a player-to-player, man-to-man defensive team, and we take a lot of pride in that. But that trapping zone has been very good to us. It's something we're going to continue to get better at. I mean, we if you count just conference games, I mean, we're one of the top, if not the top defensive team in the conference. We just have to find more scoring. That's all. I felt like if we could get 60, 65 points on a regular basis, gosh, I think we'd be 5-1 now or something. But we're getting it figured out. And I think that we always bring out the best in everybody else. We were just talking about how teams just play with a lot of confidence against us, and we always have to deal with that.
Yeah, I saw the video of the three seniors getting their job assignments, and I think that was on the road. I'm just curious, because you have spent a lot of time on the road. Have there been other moments like that have helped you guys in terms of, maybe building cohesion or anything like that? Or has it just kind of been a grind?
No, there's always a lot of great memories that you make during that time that you have together. The part that makes it a grind is just that you're in the other guy's gym and you are, you're not in your own bed, you're in hotel rooms, you're on buses, you're on airplanes. The last trip we were looking forward to it because it was at least warm, we thought, but it ended up raining the whole time. But no, those road trips, I mean, those are the things that you do remember as a team. And we've had a lot of great moments like that. And in fact, there's few things that warms my heart more than sitting at a meal or something with the team in the room and just seeing them be together and laughing and having a good time. And, that's why we all do this. I think, any player will tell you, I don't care who you're playing for, whether you're playing for South Carolina or playing for the Air Force Academy, you do this for your teammates. This is so much of this experience is about your teammates. And certainly those road trips are when you do tend to get the tightest, for sure. Hi, Rachel.
I just wanted to ask about Kaylanimmel, her status, how she's feeling, but honestly, before the injury, just kind of how her progression you feel has been going since she's kind of returned back to the team.
Well, here's what kind of breaks your heart a little bit. The game, our first San Diego State game was her best game since she's been back. And she played really well in that game. And we were starting to feel pretty good about maybe having enough threats to generate some of those points we need to get. So I felt like she was making the progress that she needed to make, and then in the third quarter, she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the San Diego State guard just clipped her in her nose with her elbow, and it was and the team came running over and saying, "We think it's broken. It's got to be broken." So she took a blow. And it is broken. It is, but she's tough. This is her senior year. Like I say, she even tried to go back in that game, and I was a little leery. Thankfully, she didn't have no concussion or anything like that. It just literally caught her right across the nose. So she's going to have to figure out how to play with a mask on. So she's going to be fitted for that. Actually, I think today she's getting fitted for that mask, and we'll see how she does. I just, like I say, those seniors, I just want them to have a positive experience and just finish this feeling great about what they've done and what they've contributed. So I really hope she can play some.
I guess 2 parts, so 2 follow-ups. Bear with me. You have a little bit of time here until you face UNLV. You talked about it kind of looking at like a Christmas break or an opportunity to work on yourselves. What are some of the things that you guys are really honing in on this next week in practice to maybe work towards a little bit more consistency offensively maybe, or just different areas you feel like you guys need to work on? And then also looking forward to UNLV. I know that's a ways away. You probably won't begin looking at that scout for a while, but what can you say about them?
Well, we will be working on a lot of things. A motion offense that is pretty sophisticated that we've been trying to get going with, and it's just we just aren't good enough at it to consistently score with it. But it's not an easy thing to learn, and it takes times, it takes a lot of reps, it takes a lot of timing, and I've always said one of our biggest challenges as a team is passing the ball. There is a saying in basketball that to be a good passer, you have to deliver the ball on time, on target. And we're pretty good on target, but we're not always good on time. And that is one of the things that I think most causes us problems on scoring the ball. Because if you got to give a player a pass they can shoot with, and you have to give it at when they're open. So we're going to keep working on that and keep identifying how we can get better in that area of the game, and then that is also part of our motion offense. Motion offense, very critical, that on time, on target. We need to get more of a post game. It's very hard to be effective when the only thing the other guy gives you is threes. The other teams will let us shoot the three all day long, and there are times that we're happy to comply, and we shouldn't be. And so we have to get more of a threat inside. We have to be able to, I think we have to improve just our short game, just the ability to, score the pull-up jumper, that sort of thing. So lots and lots to work on offensively. And I want us to continue to get tougher defensively so that we can pick up full court. We did pick up full court in the second game against San Diego State. We did not in the first game, and I think it would have helped us if we'd picked up in the first game. But then you've got to, especially we got a couple of back-to-backs coming up in February. We're actually going to play 2 days in a row. So if that's a huge part of who we are, boy, we better get comfortable with it. So a lot of that kind of stuff, that's what we're going to be working on. And I think also getting some of our freshmen a little bit more up to speed. We've got some good freshmen. Once they didn't get the preseason that freshmen normally get. And so they didn't get as much of a chance to develop. And then once you get into season, you have so little practice time, you got to put all your reps into the kids that are probably going to play the most. And our freshmen have sort of been left by the wayside a little bit. If this was a different time, different era for the program, those guys would have been starting, and they would have been playing quite a bit, and they would have had to produce, and they would have been like freshmen. They would have been up and down. And so I want to use this time to sort of get them back up to speed a little bit, and maybe have them ready to help us in February, because I think we're going to need them. Because, like I say, we got some good freshmen. You guys haven't seen them. You haven't seen them yet.
Anybody else with anything for Coach?
I'll tell you about UNLV next week, Rachel. I haven't watched enough film yet. I know they're playing pretty well. Yeah, I know they're playing pretty well. I mean, I've been impressed with some of their scores. So they have a new coach, but to be able to tell you all about them, I haven't watched enough film yet to do that.